And now that you have your information interviews, let's talk about how to engage these hiring managers. Here's a few guidelines. Keep in mind that you're not asking for a job, right? You're not begging for a job. You just wanted information. I've been talking to people at your company. I've been reading news about your organization. I think I'd be a fit. I don't know. But I just want to have a 5-minute conversation with you so we can get to know each other to see if I might be, or to see if you can use my skills or talents or abilities. Right? Excuse me. It's better to get an introduction. Although, this is an interesting statistic. A direct message, or an in-mail it's called, an in-mail, which is an email over LinkedIn, has a higher open rate than regular email. So even if you send an email, it's more likely to be read than if you sent a cold call email. But it's always better to get an introduction. So maybe you've had this ongoing conversation with a few of your information interview sources and you've developed a relationship with that person. Now you can say, hey, I want to talk to Mr. Hiring Manager. Could you introduce me? I just want to ask him a few questions. It's not a job inquiry. It's just an information. Right? So you're never begging. You're always trying to get an introduction into that organization. Okay? And then you take it offline. Remember that from the last session? Take it offline. Don't ask your questions from within LinkedIn. Say, I'd like to give you a call. When is a good time to call? This is another ninja technique, which is, I'd like to make an appointment to call you next Thursday at 3:30. If this is not going to work for you, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll talk to you then. And then call me at 3:30 next Thursday. It's powerful for several reasons. It shows that you do what you say you're going to do. It's professionally assertive. It's not annoying. And then if they don't pick up the phone, your next email is, I'm sorry you missed our appointment. Or I'm sorry we weren't able to connect. Right? This is the thing with people who work at corporations. They just accept meeting invitations without thinking about it. But you can get anyone's calendar, this is funny, you can get anyone's calendar, just send them an invite. Because they have isn't this true? They have like 300 emails and like the invites are just like accept. You know, get it off my plate, And then they walk into the meeting and they're like, all right, what's this meeting all about? That's the corporate world. So send them an invite like that. You know, say, I'm trying to get on your calendar next Thursday at 3:30. Try it, it'll work. This is what the invitation form looks like on LinkedIn. Who hasn't used it before? Is this new? Yeah. Yeah, there's two parts to it. There's this top part, which is the message to the actual hiring manager. In this case, his name's Craig. So the actual hiring manager is going to see this first part. Cleon is my connector. Cleon, the second part, is my connector. Cleon he is not obligated to pass on that introduction. So be careful about what you ask for. So I could go to Cleon and take it totally for granted. I could say, Cleon, hey man, just connect me please, and then thanks, Josh. Right? Or I can be professionally assertive and make him feel good about passing on that recommendation. Say, Cleon, I'd really like to ask Craig a couple of questions about his company. And it won't be a job solicitation. I really just want to see if I'm a fit or not. I'd really appreciate it if you had some time, would pass on the introduction. You're professionally assertive, and you're reducing the perceived risk that you're going to go and annoy Craig and make Cleon look stupid. Okay. So the tip here for the introduction box is be professionally assertive, explain what you want to talk to the hiring manager about. Then when you talk to the hiring manager, you're going to say something kind of like this. You're going to say, Craig, I'd like to take this offline and find out if I'd be a fit for your company or not so that I'm not wasting your time or mine. What day next week would you have 30 minutes to chat? A great framework, of course, is to start off with a commonality. Like, I found you on LinkedIn and I noticed we both went to TCU. Or I noticed that we're both part of the green energy group. And I wanted to ask you a few questions. So start off with something in common, right? And then take it offline. So the problem is that if you try to do this without first polishing off your LinkedIn profiles, your response rate will be 0. Because you'll ask for the introduction from Cleon to Craig. Craig will look at your LinkedIn profile and he'll notice you're not complete. You have cropped your picture out of your last year's Hawaii vacation, and you haven't spent time filling out a proper summary. Right? And so Craig's going to say to himself, not really serious. Right? So the first thing to do is to put your clothes back on using a good strategy for getting your LinkedIn profile fixed up, right? Does that make sense? And I think those of you who were in this last session or this one probably have enough ammunition and to-do things on your LinkedIn profile to keep you busy for the next month, right? There's a lot to do to look good online. But once you are looking good online, that's going to really make a difference for you.